as we shuffle off to Buffalo. Actually, around here they're called bison, right? SuperTalk 1270, Jim Walsh. Live and in person. Live and ready to fight the jive. I just made that up off the top of my... God, that's pathetic. All right. Do you think you're throwing your vote away if you don't vote for one of the two goobers who are running for president in the major party? Let's roll with that for a while here. Number 663-1270. I'd love to hear from you. I'm also streaming live on Facebook right now, my personal Facebook account. You guys who are acquainted with that, I'll have to get this set up too for the SuperTalk 1270 Facebook page, so folks can see me there as well. Yes, you can see me in all my balding, borderline obese glory. Plus, I haven't shaved in 3 days. Yeah, we're ready to rock and roll here. My name is Jim Walsh. Would love to hear from you. I'm going to start off here. We're going to talk a little bit later on about retiring early as opposed to you keep working. What do you plan to do? I'm not sure I ever want to retire. You know, I've heard too many stories about people who retire and 3 weeks later they die. On the other hand, I don't like working. I mean, I like my job, but I don't like working. Do you understand? There is a subtle but very definite difference there. And also coming up, we have there's a list of restaurants here in Bismarck who offer free meals for kids at certain times of the day and certain times of the week. I want to talk about that. I want to give you my angle on that. See if you don't agree with me. Basically, I hate going into a restaurant where there's a lot of kids. So, you know, if I know a restaurant's going to be serving free meals for kids at a certain time, I won't go there at that time. I'll go at some other time. But we'll get into that in just a bit here. All right, Penn Jillette, who is one of my absolute favorite people on the planet. Libertarian, atheist, outspoken, all-around entertaining kind of guy. I like Penn, always have. He's one of my, I don't know him personally, but he's one of my favorite people on the planet. And he talks about the whole wasted vote controversy. You know, we do have alternative candidates voting, alternative candidates who are running for various offices that you can vote for if, like me, you really don't want anything to do with the Hillary and Donnie show. You know, you got the Hildebeest and El Donaldo. I'm not crazy about Hillary, and I just plain don't like Donald. We're going to get into that in a minute here about his latest thing. I do believe that this week. Seriously, who is advising this guy? I'd like to be on fly on the wall. Somebody actually walks in and says, you know, Don, what you got to do, you got to get into a public pissing match with a Gold Star family. That'll rack up them percentage points. Yeah, right. Sure. You know, we've had whack jobs run for president before. We've had whack jobs get elected president before. But, what, like Nixon? Anybody remember Nixon? I remember Nixon. I was a little kid, but I remember Nixon. But Nixon at least was smart enough, was savvy enough to have people who ran interference for him. You know, he had people like Patrick Buchanan and Al Haig who pulled him aside. Dick, you don't want to say that in front of the public thing. There's a famous story, by the way, regarding Nixon. When the Watergate thing was coming down, Nixon was starting to, you know, he started to lose it toward the end there. You might have read the Woodward's book about that, where he's, you know, getting on his knees and praying with Kissinger in the Oval Office and all that business. And he was talking to somebody in the Oval Office, having a conversation. Right in the middle of it, he says, you know, this phone right here, I could pick up this phone, and in a half hour, 100 million people would be dead. He actually said that. And the story was, as I recall, somebody, might have been Kissinger, issued a memo shortly thereafter to the effect that, listen, if the boss should ask anything of you that's a little extreme, but a little unorthodox, do us all a favor. Run it by me first. So we've had whack jobs in the White House before, but you can be a whack job if you've got somebody to run that kind of interference for you, to make you look not necessarily good, but not as bad. So what is El Donaldo thinking here? Jeez. Yeah, gotta love. Number here, 663-1270. But what about wasting your vote? Penn Jillette. He's the talky half of Penn and Teller. He's endorsing Gary Johnson, the Libertarian candidate and native North Dakotan who is running for president on the Libertarian Party ticket of less government, lower taxes, less interference, blah, 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 blah. Things that I happen to stand for as well. And I don't get into endorsements on the air, but just for the sake of argument, I will tell you that of anybody running for office, I'm leaning toward Gary Johnson. And my feeling is very much like Penn Jillette's in this. I don't care if I'm wasting my vote or not. To me, voting is about expressing your opinion about the way the country should go. Look, let's face it, there's no way on God's green earth your single individual vote is going to change society as a whole, unless life becomes a big Frank Capra movie. Or remember there was a movie a couple of years ago, really awful movie, with Kelsey Grammer and Kevin Costner, and about these two guys running for president, and it came down to one vote, and the guy was Kevin Costner, and he couldn't decide how to vote, and he had his daughter, who was a little Budinsky, and she was a little Lisa Simpson type. She's saying, Dad, you got to do your civic duty. Boy, I could have killed that kid. Anyway, unless your life is a really bad Frank Capra movie, your one vote is not going to change anything. So I say, you might as well vote with your conscience. If you see somebody, if you like the Green Party chick, what's her name, Jill somebody, yeah, vote for her. If you want to write in Bernie, hell, write in Bernie. Or if you want to vote for Gary Johnson, vote for Gary Johnson. I don't go for this crap. To me, you are wasting your vote if you vote for a candidate simply because somebody told you you should. So what I'm saying is, and if you really want to go with these two goobers of the major party, that's fine. That's your business. I really don't care who you vote for. I really don't. That's fine. That's your thing. It's America. Know what I mean? And what I tell people is, vote for the candidate whose vision of America comes closest to yours. And if you, frankly, if you're really disgusted with the system, and you don't want to do the lesser of evils thing, then just pick a third party or alternate party candidate, random, vote for them, just as a protest vote. That I think I could go along with. That would be a cool thing to do. But don't just vote because people say, well, if you don't vote for this person, then that person's going to get in. That's not how it's supposed to work in my mind. You're supposed to go with your conscience. So please do that. You do that. I love you. I give you big kiss. And if you like to weigh in on this, maybe you think I'm full of beans. Well, then that's it's kind of what the gig's all about here. Number is 663-1270, and I would very much enjoy getting your opinion on the subject as well. I'd like to say hello to Buck and Edward and Kyle and Diane. Sound like I'm doing one of those kids shows with the romper room where I'm talking through the magic mirror. Kyle, yes. Hello, Kyle. I'm watching you too. But I'd love to hear from you. It's SuperTalk 1270. My name is Jim Walsh. Be right back.
Right now, 73.
Get the app called Radio Pup for your iPhone and take us everywhere you go. Bismarck and Mandan's own SuperTalk 1270.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
Jim Walsh on SuperTalk 1270. We're talking about wasting your vote. Is it a waste of a vote if you vote for a candidate who has no chance in hell of winning? See, that's what I'm doing, and I don't consider it a waste of a vote. Because it's my vote, I'll throw it away if I want to. Seriously. You got a problem with that? Well, that's your problem. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, Because America, you know what I mean? Number here is 663-1270. My pal Kyle Wilson comments, I have friends on both sides telling me that my vote for Gary Johnson is taking away a vote from their candidate. Well, you see, that's what it's all about. That's what it's really about. They want you to vote for their guy. or they want you to vote for one of the two big candidates because they know that keeps the scam going. It's like, I mean, you could argue that voting for anybody is in effect casting a vote of confidence for this stupid, sick, sordid system, and it's a good argument. But if you really feel the need to express your opinion, then what I'm saying is you don't have to support somebody you don't want to support just because people tell you you have to, because this guy's going to win and this guy's going to that and the other. And what happens is they tell you this guy gets in, he's going to do this, that, and the other. The other guy gets in and he does exactly what they, it's an old story. Remember the old joke about in the 60s when Lyndon Baines Johnson was running for president against Barry Goldwater. And the old joke was, they told me if I voted for Goldwater, there would be riots in the streets. There would be racial upheaval. There would be an endless, unwinnable war. The country would be mired in this pointless, repulsive, bloody war for years to come. It'll take decades for the nation to recover. Well, I voted for Goldwater anyway, and sure enough, all those things did happen. Anyway, number here is 663-1270, 701-663-1270. Hello there. Anyway, I've got a great thing. Oh, I want to mention that coming up on a much lighter note, I'm going to be talking with a local gentleman here. His name is John Wanecke. John is a guy... the folks around Bismarck, Mandan know about John because a while back he did a walk to raise awareness for treatment of brain injury. Please don't think I'm trying to make a joke here. This is serious. He did this walk. It was Run John Run or Walk John Walk, and now he's doing Bike John Bike. He's going to get on his bicycle on Thursday, I believe, and he's going to ride his bike from Bismarck all the way out to Fargo. That's a 200-mile trip. And he's going to make stops along the way. It's going to take him about 3 days to do it all. And he's going to meet with folks along the way. And it's all part of his efforts to raise awareness primarily for the brain injury cause. He's a survivor of traumatic brain injury. He's a real good guy. And we're going to talk with John in just a few minutes. I'll be giving him a call during the break at the bottom of the hour. And we're going to put him on the radio for just a few minutes here to talk about it. All right, let me see here. Wayne Coy. Hi, Wayne. Please don't be coy, but thanks for watching. See, that's a joke. It's humor. Humor. If you're watching me on Facebook right now and you're interested in listening to the show, I'd love to have you on here. Come tune in, We need them hits. The hits just keep on coming. SuperTalk1270.com. We also stream on the Town Square Media app called Radio Pup. If you've already got Radio Pup or if you've got time to get it, you can do it that way. It's SuperTalk1270 KLXX Radio in Bismarck, North Dakota. Yeah, North by God, Dakota. All right, I've got a thing I want to read here. There's been this very disturbing trend in this country, symbolized by the fact that everybody knows somebody on social media that they had to unfriend or disconnect from because of things that were inappropriate, things that they said on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. And it's kind of a downer. You've got this friend, somebody you've known for their whole life, and then they say something about Donald Trump, and you unfriend them over it. The hell's up with that? It's a very weird thing. I mean, we could go into a whole thing about, what's appropriate to say on. It just seems to me that we must not be doing a very good job of picking our friends in this society if something as insignificant as the choice of a political candidate can drive a wedge in your relationship and drive you apart like that. And I have to be honest, I think my medium, talk radio, is, I don't know if we're a cause or just a symptom of the problem, but you hear a lot of this crap on talk radio where people, especially these hardcore conservative guys, the Rush clones, a lot of them out there, basically talk radio has turned into Rush and his 10,000 clones in a lot of areas. And that's kind of a joke. We try to steer away from that here, at least I do. But you hear a lot of these shows, including right here in Bismarck on a certain other station in town, which shall remain nameless, FYR. But you hear a lot of these people calling on, what are we conservatives going to do to save America from the scourge of liberals? Like liberals. They're this subhuman species. No, they're not. They're just people who have a different opinion on things. All these liberals, hey, shut up. Seriously. Come on. Like I say, we got a show across town like that. The people get on and they talk about the liberals and how we got to save America from these animals, these subhuman, these liberals. What do they want to do? They have different ideas on how to do things in our society. And it never occurs to them that they might be part of the problem. Yes. And that's what amazes me about the whole political thing. It's not so much the pointlessness of Tweedledum and Tweedledee. But what really gets me are the number of people out there who really think that Tweedledee is preferable to Tweedledum. Yeah, I'm going to vote. Yeah, we got the big giant douche and turd sandwich. Yeah, I love that turd sandwich. He's great. He can do no wrong. What? Come on. I respect someone who says, I'm going, the whole lesser of evils thing. I'm not big on it, but if you say, I'm going to vote for so-and-so because it's a lesser of evils thing. One of them is going to run the country, and I believe this one at least is. I can kind of, I don't agree with it, but I can kind of respect it. What I don't respect are these people who get all disingenuous and really pretend, hey, this guy is great. And we got to vote for him to save the country from the other person. If you really think that way about this election, or, I remember people saying it last time, Obama versus Mitt. We got to save America from this guy or that guy because our guy is the great one and the other guy, what a load of malarkey. Thank you, Joe Biden. Come on. Please stop insulting our intelligence, okay? We know they're both goobers. If you want to say, well, this guy's a goober, but at least he's my goober. Okay, that's fine. I have a friend who's voting for Donald Trump, and I asked him, I said, let me ask you, who are you voting for and why? And he said, well, I'm voting for Trump. And then he paused, and he says, I am a Republican. I believe in the Republican agenda, and I think the agenda of the party, the platform of the party, is much more important than any one person, even the individual who happens to be running on the presidential ticket. Now, that is a good answer. If more people gave thoughtful answers like that, again, it's not so much who you're voting for, it's why you're doing it and the way you're doing it. That kind of bugs me. But anyway, we're gonna talk with our friend John here. Talk about he's a very nice man, and we're gonna get him on the phone in just a couple of minutes here, and talk about his efforts to ride his bicycle across North Dakota from Bismarck to Fargo over a 3-day period to raise awareness for the treatment of traumatic brain injury. And it's a very honorable thing. And my hat is off to him. We'll talk with John in just a couple of minutes here. In the meantime, number 663-1270. Love to hear from you. Jim Walsh on SuperTalk 1270 and SuperTalk1270.com. Hang in there. Be right back.
Right now, 73.
Your news leader. Weeknights at 6 and 10. Super Talk 1270.
Hello there, Jim Walsh on SuperTalk 1270. Name of the show is Bizman Weekly. John, are you with us, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, John Wanecke. John, you're from Bismarck, right?
I'm actually from Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
I have a family in Bismarck, and I own a house in Steele.
All right, well, let's talk about...
I do business in Bismarck.
I understand, sir. So let's talk about what exactly it is you're doing. Now, when I called you, you said you had to pull over because you want, for safety's sake, and I appreciate that. I applaud that. Let me just ask you one thing. You're not on your bike right now, are you?
No, I'm not.
Oh, good. That would be kind of weird. But, John, let's talk about what you're doing. You're going to ride a bicycle, I understand, from Bismarck to Fargo. Am I correct?
Right. Starting on the 9th of August, I'll be riding my bicycle across the state of North Dakota to draw attention to brain injuries and the desperate need for the development of services for individuals with brain injury.
Now, you yourself, you're a person who has had to deal with this kind of thing on a first-hand basis. Would you care to talk about that a little bit? Just talk about what happened.
Well, I was in a pretty horrific accident around the airport, just past the Lincoln entrance onto, I think it's 1804, from coming down the hill from Mary College. I was riding a scooter on October 27th, 2013, and going about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
At 6:10 in the morning in the dark, and all of a sudden, some guy going about 65 miles an hour rear-ended me in a Ford heavy-duty pickup truck. I ended up 200 feet from the scooter, and the scooter ended up 300 feet from impact. I ended up breaking my back, all my left side ribs, multiple injuries. I had a 28-stitch cut on my head, and I guess he's a coward, took off, and we never found him.
How long did it take you to, how long was your period of recuperation from, how long does it take after something like that?
Well, physically, I was supposed to be in the hospital for a week after the surgery to repair my back and other things.
Right.
And then upstairs for another week for rehab, but I have a tendency to bounce back from all sorts of things, including physical things. And they discharged me from the hospital in 5.5 weeks.
5.5 weeks, okay.
Yeah, I was back to work at Mary College as a food manager by the 10th of December. But what lingers on is the brain injury. I've got short-term memory loss. I have a controllable mood disorder and a touch of PSTD.
Right. Now, for your actual ride, and we should clarify, what's the date again on that? You say the 9th?
I'm leaving on the 9th, which is a Tuesday of August.
Okay, next week. Okay.
At the Capitol flagpoles.
Right. So the folks who want to see you off, they should be there next Tuesday. What time?
I'm going to have state representatives there.
Okay.
I'm on the. In fact, what I'm doing now is I'm on the way. Of course, he's kind of busy now, but I'm on the way to the governor's office to try and get him to attend. I was in fact in a photo op with him in March as he signed the Brain Awareness Proclamation. March was the Brain Awareness Month of this year.
Well, as you know, Governor Jack is kind of up to his ears in that whole budgetary thing right now, but I wish you the best on that. I don't see why he wouldn't show up for next week. All right, we're talking with John Wanecke, who is getting ready to make a 3-day bike ride from Bismarck to Fargo. And so your itinerary is, let me see, you wrote it down for me here.
Yeah, I've got it right here. I can read it off here on.
Yeah, give me the itinerary
Tuesday,
there.
The 9th,
okay.
I'll have Bismarck and Mandan representatives there, and everybody, whoever's up there, my sponsors and whatnot, will see me off. Then I'll go to Driscoll and meet one representative there. I'll stay overnight in Steele. Then the following day, I'll be meeting representatives at the Jamestown City Hall.
Yeah.
I'll stay there the night. Then I'm taking off early. Thursday, I'll be in Valley City and Castleton, meeting people there.
Right.
And Friday, I will be in West Fargo and Fargo. And that's the first leg of a 72 town/city ride, trying to meet 211 state representatives, Senate and House, running or not, Republican or Democrat. Brain injuries do not discriminate. Therefore, it includes both sides of the aisle.
Right. Now, a couple quick questions here before we wrap up. First of all, how much, obviously, you had to get some training going. You had to get in condition for this kind of thing. How long did that take for you to train to be able to make this kind of marathon bicycle run?
Well, I've got, a background in running to begin with. I completed the Kroll's Marathon last year, and I was a pretty avid runner several years ago. So
it's not something you came to late in life. Yeah.
What I have been doing is I'm in Bismarck, and then I've got the bike in my back seat that Epic Sports was nice enough to give me, and I parked the car in Driscoll, and then I ride into Steele, and then the next day I ride the bike back to the car, and I keep going further and further away. Now I'm in Sterling biking in and out.
Yeah.
So I should be in pretty good shape come this Tuesday.
Now, once you get to your destination, how are you getting back? You're not going to ride all the way back, are you?
Well,
or are you?
A few loops where it's out and around, catching small towns and it's back. But for instance, the first trip from Bismarck to Fargo, I will have seen everybody on that. So it serves no purpose to just ride back.
I understand.
So my support vehicle will pick me up there and bring me back. And what I'll be doing is going out every other week.
Okay, we're talking with John Wanecke here, who's getting ready for, he's calling it the Bike John Bike. Bike John Bike! The run from Bismarck to Fargo to help raise awareness. Specifically, we're talking about the research for traumatic brain injury. Do I have that right?
Well, we're in desperate need for the development of services for individuals with brain injury, and the purpose is to get to our lawmakers, and despite these budget cutbacks, try to get some money out of the budget in the 2017 session to accomplish this.
This is probably a very good time to talk to the governor when you think about it, because he's got all this going on in the back of his mind, and it's probably a pretty good idea to at least make your presence known and let him know that this is one issue that he probably should take a look at when he's making the ultimate decision.
Right. So we're just getting up ahead of steam now. There's been people working on this for 19 years, but for one reason or another, the committees fall apart, and this, that, and the other, and it's not going to happen this time. So we've been going full speed ahead for almost 2 years.
John, I appreciate your persistence, sir.
The first of the year.
I appreciate your persistence. And one final question: how can folks get more information if they want to support you? Maybe make a donation to your cause. Where should they go?
Well, they get on runjohnusa.com. That's runjohnusa.com, and you can contribute. It's very informational, and if you click on Learn More, you can actually get on another website, which is the North Dakota Brain Injury Network website.
John Wanecke, I appreciate it, John. The website is Run John USA, and you'll be making your bike run from Bismarck to Fargo next week. John, you and I will talk again later this week, and we'll see what we can do to get the information out. Thanks again for joining us, and have a very good day, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. Talk to you soon now. Jim Walsh here on SuperTalk 1270 and SuperTalk1270.com. More conversation, your calls coming up.
Right now, 79.
The Jim Bohannon Show is here. SuperTalk 1270.
Yeah, I got to mention, last night Bohannon had Clint Hill on the show. Native North Dakotan, Secret Service agent. He was there in Dallas the day that, Kennedy, right, he was there. I mean, he was right there when it happened. A story that still I never get tired of hearing because of the passion with which he tells it. SuperTalk 1270, SuperTalk1270.com, Jim Walsh. And let's talk a little bit about this latest report on people who are working instead of retiring. Could you see yourself, if you're getting anywhere near that retirement age, and if you're listening to a show like this one, this is not a joke. Well, I mean, it's a fact. I mean, if you listen to this kind of radio, you're probably baby boomer, and you're starting to think about getting up there, and you're starting to think about what you're going to do with the rest of your life. By the way, hi Dave North out in Indiana, checking in on Facebook. A lot of people. There's basically two reasons you can not retire. Either you have to do so because you haven't saved up any money, or you want to do so because it's something to do. It's and maybe we'll do a little poll here, if you'd like to weigh in on this issue. Do you plan to retire? Number here is 663-1270. I have a feeling that when I get to that point, and it's not that many years away for me, but I can tell you this, first and foremost, there's no way in hell I'm going to stop working when I'm 65, because that's only like another 5 years down the road for me. And I just don't feel, I'm trying to do things to stay youngish, if you know what I mean. So for that reason alone, I'll probably find something to do, something to keep my hand in it. I'm kind of a late bloomer in that regard. And bear in mind, I'm the guy, 5 years ago, I went back to school and got my bachelor's degree finally, and then a master's degree. I was 55 when I went back. Why did I do it? Well, because I figured, if I do this now, by the time I get done, I'll be 60 years old. But if I don't do it, I'll be 60 years old and I won't have these degrees. So, you went with the lesser of evils type option there. So, yeah, and we've talked about this before. More people are working instead of retiring. I think it's kind of cool. Dave North says he plays video games to ward off Alzheimer's. How's that working for you, dude? No, Dave's a good guy. And actually, there's a lot to be said for those kind of puzzle games. Like I do a lot of crossword. I subscribe to the New York Times crossword. It's cheap. It's only like $5 or $6 a month. And every day you get access to the daily New York Times puzzle. But I'll tell you, the most challenging puzzle of the week, you think the Sunday puzzle would be the big one. I don't have that much trouble with the Sunday puzzle. Usually there's some overriding theme there, but once you figure the overriding theme, you kind of crack the code, and the rest of it is pretty easy. But the toughest day of the week for the New York Times crossword is Saturday. For some reason, the Saturday puzzle is always the one I get hung up on. But I do it because I know that, at my age, I got to do what I can to keep the old synapses firing in the right direction. And hopefully maybe ward off whatever it is that, I don't know that there's a family history of any kind of, brain issues like that, but it's just a good thing to do. Keep your brain ticking into your ripe old age. And puzzles and little games on the internet that kind of tease your brain a little bit, and little lessons, from iTunes and YouTube. Lately I've been getting into mathematics again. And I'm not a mathematician. I barely know the very basics of math, but I've been kind of getting into it lately, watching these little clips they have telling you about algebra and calculus. And I'm no Einstein, but I'm fascinated by that stuff. I find it fascinating and terrifying at the same time, calculus especially. I mean, the whole concept of calculus is like right over your head. And I had a taste of that in school, too. There was this business math course I had to take for my bachelor's where they actually use some of the basic applied calculus, and they show you how to apply it to certain business things. And it was the applied calculus. Thank God, none of the heavy theoretical stuff. But the applied calculus was challenging enough. But I got through it. I survived, got my degree, and now I'm going back and looking at a lot of stuff and going, this is kind of cool. Thing is, if you look at it, it's weird stuff. You look at it and you go, how the hell can this? But it works. Calculus works. It's the reason we got to the moon, folks. You civil engineers, you know what I'm talking about. You can't build a bridge without this stuff. It's cool stuff, amazing. You don't need drugs. Just get into calculus. That stuff will blow your mind enough as it is. All right. Keep your motor skills sharp. That's what we're trying to do here. Sharpen up the old noggin. Okay, I got this thing I want to read, and I got a few minutes left here. This somebody posted this on Facebook the other day. We were talking earlier in the program about voting and about losing friends or defriending people on social media, Facebook, whatever, because of how they vote, and people seem to get... I don't know what's gotten into us as a country the last year or so. I like to think that people say, oh, it's Trump. Well, I don't know that Trump is the cause so much as he's a symptom. Things like this, you'll find when you look back, they're things that were always there, bubbling under the surface. And it just took a guy like Trump and people like Hillary, these polarizing personalities. It takes people like that to kind of bring it out in the open. But they're not really the cause. They're the symptom. But here's a thing that somebody posted. I love this. I sent it out to all my friends on Facebook. Long after this election is over, Trump and Hillary will still be rich. Half of us will be able to claim we won. The other half will have 4 years to say, oh, see, that's why I didn't vote for so-and-so. But just remember, we live in a different America than they do. We have to live, work, and eat with each other in our America. We don't get to hop on a private jet and fly away from our community's problems. We are what makes this country what it is, not the president. He or she will not stop crime in our neighborhoods. He won't stop people from stealing your identity. She will not stop anyone from shooting up your local nightclubs. Hillary will not come teach your child right from wrong, but you can. Trump will not come to your home and teach your math, but you can. We, as a united people with sound morals, values, and ethics, can make this country whatever we want. So vote for whoever you want to vote for. But remember, we are the ones that shape our communities, not them. I love it. Amen, brother. JFK said, in many ways, JFK, politics aside, is one of my favorite presidents because he had a way of, he knew the importance of inspiring people, of motivating people to get things done. He knew that that was his most important job, arguably, as the leader of the nation, was to motivate people really to get things done for themselves. And in one of his speeches, I think it was the speech he made where he announced the test ban treaty, he said, quoting here to the best of my memory, "In your hands, my fellow Americans, more so than mine, will lie the ultimate success or failure of our course." And right there, old Jack spilled the beans as to what it's all about. It's up to you guys. You know, whoever's in the White House, that's a figurehead thing. The system will continue doing what the system does, regardless of whose big, pasty Caucasian butt is filling the seat in the Oval Office. How's that for a revolting little word picture? But you understand what I'm trying to say here. It's up to you guys and me and you. And a dog named Boo. No, it's a different thing. But seriously, the hope is for us. People say, where's the hope for America? Get a damn mirror, pal, and get with the program. Like Michael Jackson said, you start with the man in the mirror. But I love that. I should post that. We'll try to get that up and running next couple of days here. One quick, I'm going to hold this last comment because it's kind of, it's also a very polarizing thing. And we're kind of going out on a very unifying note here. So, I did want to mention very quickly on our website, SuperTalk1270.com, we have a list of some restaurants in the Bismarck-Mandan area that have deals for children where certain times of the day or week the kids can get free meals. Now, that's great for two reasons, I think. Number one, it's great for the families with kids because they know they can take their kids there and the kids can eat for free on these certain days and certain times of day or week. And it's great for a guy like me because I know when not to go to that restaurant, so I don't have to sit there and try to enjoy my dining experience in a room full of squawking, colicky yuppie larvae. You see, I'm one of these old guys who never had any children, and people feel sorry for me, but I don't have a problem with it, never have. And please don't sit there and say, well, you don't have children, you understand. Shut up. Come on. What I'm saying is, I go out to dine pretty much for the same reason anybody does, to unwind, to kind of get away from the stress of the day-to-day existence. And the last thing I need to do is to go when there's a bunch of kids in there screaming and squalling, throwing their food around and running around, making a lot of noise and making a mess. So when I decide to dine out, I like to know where the deals are for the kids because that way I know where not to go that particular day and that particular time. And that's not a rap against any of these restaurants. Some of them are among my favorite restaurants. But what I'm saying is, if they're going to do this on this certain day, then I'm going to go another day. It's like the movies. I love to go to the movies on school nights for the obvious reason you won't deal with nearly as many kids. That's my thing. If that's important to you, then you probably should check it out yourself as well. The website at SuperTalk1270.com. Jim Walsh here, winding down. Thanking you very much for listening. Name of the show, Bizman Weekly. 2 weeks from today, we'll do it again. Also, as occasion allows, filling in. Thanks. Love you. Bye.
SuperTalk 1270 KLXX Mandan, Bismarck. Listen anytime, anywhere, online at SuperTalk1270.com.